Everyone's talking about how hard at-home learning is. But you know who it's really hard for? Students who don't have a home. Learn how this community is helping those students engage and be safe through virtual learning. More students are living in emergency shelters, cars, motels, on the street, or in other temporary housing situations than ever before. Public schools have identified more than 1.5 million children experiencing homelessness during the 2017-2018 school year, which is an 11% increase over the previous school year and the highest number ever recorded. The biggest increase appeared in the number of homeless students living in unsheltered situations, such as in a car, in parks, or on the street. The number of students who are in these situations has more than doubled from the 2016-2017 school year to the 2017-2018 school year, jumping by 103%. It is the highest number recorded in more than a dozen years, and experts say it's a reflected growing problem that can negatively affect children's academic performance and health. And now, during a recession and the job insecurities of 2020, these numbers are more likely going to shatter previous numbers from previous school years. The data was published by the National Center of Homeless Education, which is funded by the Department of Education. Its researchers were quick to note that the reported figures represent an undercount as they include only those enrolled in public schools. Their research fails to capture those who fell into homelessness during the summer, those who dropped out of school, and younger children not enrolled into preschool programs. The depth of this undercount can be alarming. California performed an audit last year on the number of homeless students and found that the state schools had undercounted the number of students experiencing homelessness by 37% during the 2017-2018 school year. I had the privilege to sit down with Dr. Johnny Waller, the Associate Superintendent of Auxiliary Services and Director of Student Support Services at Lee County Schools, to learn more about the challenges of supporting homeless children so that students don't fail and fall between the cracks during the summer months. Dr. Waller is the Homeless Liaison of her district and has been nationally recognized for her dedication to supporting students experiencing homelessness through their annual summer program called Project Liftoff.
The program was different this year. We did have the program, and we did it virtually. We had students who were very active in the program. They were online. We did everything from reading and math to a service learning project, which they wrote thank you notes to the first responders and other people in the district. That had been very helpful. It was very different, but also very meaningful to those students.
Project Liftoff has an academic component where students get help with reading and math from Lee County teachers. But it's not all business. Students get to go on field trips, visit local colleges, and every year Project Liftoff staff takes students to pick out 2 pairs of shoes from a local shoe store by money donated by the community. The community goal is to help students catch up academically and provide them with a positive place virtually and in person. This also gives her, the department, an opportunity to not lose students and keep track of them after the school environment is closed. Dr. Waller shared with me that the key to a successful program is tracking students during their transient times. It's also focused on being in tune to their smaller needs as much as their larger, more critical barriers. Her team is trained to communicate and track protective factors and expand students' relationships with educators, peer mentors, and community leaders.
The biggest things that I think can help a child with protective factors is positive relationships. We have a lot of our community members that are willing and to be there for our students. They come, they may have lunch with them. They may decide just that this is going to be kind of our buddy. We're going to be a big brother, big sister. I'm very fortunate that I have a great team, and they are committed to making a difference to the students. So at the individual school level, they are reaching out. They keep the pulse on what's going on with them. Those that are most at risk, whether it's emotional, social, or economic, or academic, just tell us what we can do to help, and they're here. So we're very fortunate in that aspect, because they come in and some of them may not feel like, well, I'm not one to stand up in front of a group, or I'm not one to be able to read out loud or put myself out there. But with the relationship and the self-confidence that the students develop from the program, helps them to say, well, I can do this too. I can make a difference. I'm somebody important. I have self-worth. And that is what we really try to do.
Project Liftoff students and parents are required to sign something called the Promise, so they can keep their grades and attendance up during the school year. Dr. Waller and her staff continually evaluate families and students through quarterly meetings, making sure they're hitting their goals. Dr. Waller said that the most tangible impact of the program is qualitative data, and it's different for each student. It has translated into better grades and attendance for many students who complete the program. Now, I asked Dr. Waller, where does she see the future of this work? And she said that the biggest trend she sees is that students need help understanding how to interact and use social media and the internet. She said that her program is mainly responsible for helping students with professionalism, etiquette, and how to interact in physical social settings. The next step is to help students to be digital citizens and responsible of their data and their brand online.
One of the things I've seen with our students is they don't realize sometimes how that internet and how all the social media, how invading of their own personal life that it can be. We have a system that monitors our emails. And so when a student may send out something about self-harm, or it might be about drugs, or it might be something about a depression that they're going on, our system picks that up and we follow up immediately with the student to make sure they're okay. So when we do that, it's almost a shock to them that, like, how did you know that? The social media, the internet, all that is a wonderful tool to use, but you have to be careful with that as far as the value of doing the remote learning, the virtual learning. It's been an eye-opening experience for our teachers to be able to do that, but then for our students to see that it opens up a whole new avenue for them, that they don't have to be right there in front of the teacher face to face, that they can explore and learn a lot. That's been an eye-opening experience all the way around.
Project Liftoff is a successful program. And what's exciting is that this pandemic has made great programs now get better and evolve by looking at how to meet students digitally. I'm really excited what's to come for Project Liftoff as they expand their digital capacity, helping students learning how to use social media, understand the communication piece of email, phone, and text. All these things are powerful as we are now all connected to a global collective. Now, the next step here is, how do we bring these services not just to our most needed students? How can we scale this kind of high touch, high impact that students get from Project Liftoff, but we can provide it to all students? And I also think schools need to realize that they're no longer just from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. If anything, COVID-19 showed us that we have to have wraparound services and connect students anywhere, anytime, and a more cohesive ball of support that allows to be infused in our culture. Dr. Waller is a trailblazer and someone who's doing this, and I'm excited to continue to see her success and continue to make more stories about the importance of support services that support kids in person and online. Thank you so much for watching This Week in Education. If you enjoyed this presentation, please check out Dr. Waller's work, leave a comment, and share this with your community.